Well, the U.S. made history in Africa this week. John Kerry visited Somalia, the first American Secretary of State ever to do so. Now, he met with Somalia's president and prime minister along with other leaders to show support for the country's efforts to maintain stability and hold elections. The main topic was how to push back against the terror group Al-Shabaab. Milton Allimadi is publisher and CEO of BlackStar News, and welcome to Arise Review. The effort that the United States has put forth to either get rid of or neutralize Al-Shabaab, has it been enough in your opinion?
Well, I think it's been enough in the sense that they've managed to drive Al-Shabaab out of Mogadishu, the capital, and that's where, of course, Secretary of State went. But as you're aware, he was actually confined only to the heavily fortified airport. So while things have sort of become a bit better in Mogadishu, the capital, Al-Shabaab is still very extensively operating in other parts of the country, including the southern part, which borders towards Kenya. And remember, Kenya was even talking about trying to build a wall to separate that part of Somalia from Kenya.
Give us a little history, if you will, Mr. Allimadi, about the situation, the tension that exists between Kenya and the terrorist group Al-Shabaab.
Okay, well, since Al-Shabaab was driven from Mogadishu, they've decided to try to focus on soft targets now. And that's why you recall the Westgate shopping mall attack in Nairobi, which killed more than 70 people about 2 years ago. And then the recent attack on Garissa, the high school, where more than 150 people were massacred. So they're essentially focusing on the softer targets now. And sorry, go ahead.
They're focusing on softer targets, so specifically, from what I understand, it's because of the military presence that Kenya has.
Kenya has in Somalia, yes. Kenya is one of the three countries, and the other are primarily Uganda. Uganda has the largest force there, perhaps as many as 10,000. And Kenya sent its forces there after there were a few incidents of kidnappings, and that was impacting the tourism industry quite significantly. And, so Kenya decided to actually send troops into Somalia, and Al-Shabaab then made a statement that it was going to start targeting Kenya itself as retaliation for it.
Let's focus back on the U.S. again. Of course, as you know, most of the world knows, a significant military embarrassment by the United States. Of course, we know it here as Black Hawk Down. It was turned into a movie here. And I just got to ask you, what effect did that have, or does it still have, on the relationships between Somalia and the United States?
Well, I think after that incident, as you know, the U.S. pretty much withdrew from Somalia. And I think that created that vacuum because other countries also pulled back, and the chaos actually increased in Somalia. I mean, I think it was personally overplayed. The U.S. has a presence in Afghanistan. The U.S. has a presence in Iraq. And the U.S. sustained heavy casualties in those countries. So I found it a bit perplexing that one incident alone could, totally cut off U.S. involvement in Somalia.
There's a thing that the United States is perhaps no different than any other superpower or any other nation for that matter. They are involved in a country because of their own personal interests.
Absolutely, yes.
I guess the question is, what does the United States' interests have in Somalia? What are they concerned about over there?
I think you could draw the analogy of the parts of Iraq that is not under control of the central government, and that's where ISIS is now thriving. So the U.S. is concerned that an ungovernable Somalia that's totally anarchic would allow the presence and the growth of radical organizations, including Al-Shabaab and other groups. They fear that perhaps Al-Shabaab could develop a stronger alliance with groups like Al-Qaeda, and that's why the U.S. is very concerned.
There's also another topic here, an exciting announcement from the Central African Republic on the soldiers, child soldiers, being freed.
Yes, actually, that's a big issue, not only in the Central African Republic, but throughout scenes where we've seen these conflicts in African countries, in Liberia and Sierra Leone, in Uganda, in Sudan, in Rwanda, in Congo. So I'm glad that the UN is now taking a concerted effort to make sure that all these child soldiers are demobilized. And the other good thing, it comes in the context of a broader negotiation for all the groups in the Central African Republic to lay down their arms. And hopefully that commitment would not end because they need to be trained in productive engagement.
Right.
Otherwise, they'll go right back to it, because if you have like a situation of economic chaos, there's nothing for them to do. What else are they going to do?
There have been several documentaries that have been focused directly on this. It certainly is an important topic. Glad some good steps are being taken, and glad, Milton Allimadi, that you were here with us on the Rise Review.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you for your time.
All right.